Hey guys, what's up? All right. It's Double Deuce back. Welcome back to Radio Out of Control. We got another update and some really important tips and tricks when you're building something here. So it'll be a quick video. I didn't have a lot of content, but I thought I'd go over some of this stuff with you guys because some of these little things can set you back a long time if you don't know what's happening. So it set me back for a little while. So anyways, here we go. So, the important things I want to go over you guys with are antifreeze color, fuel color. Okay? If you're running red antifreeze, don't buy red fuel, or vice versa. And if you're running green fuel, don't buy green antifreeze. Because when you have a leak, you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know what's happening. You don't know if it's fuel or coolant. So, anyways, that set me back a long time, all because in the front here, you got your two little ports that come out of your top of your head there. One of them was leaking, and it just kept filling up the whole like starter compartment. So every time I started, it was a bunch of steam, you know. And actually, I'll show you right now, because I did hook up my starter to my radio, but I'm going to have to get a different speed controller for the simple fact of every now and then this thing takes 11.1 volts, 3 cells to fire it up. It don't take it for a long time. You just hit it and it fires right up. The 7.4 volt 2 cell, sometimes it strains and strains, but let me show you what I was dealing with every time that I tried to start it. So alright, here we go. I'm going to turn on the radio, and we'll turn on the car. Now we got our power. Now I'm going to run this in reverse. Watch the top of the engine over here when I turn it on. That's antifreeze inside the starter motor. And man, does it stink. But when you go to turn it over and load it down, that's on 7.4 volts, 2 cells. So basically what I did was I just ran, I think it's channel number 4, I believe, yeah. Channel number 4, it goes back for reverse and forward, you know, so I was going to use that for another purpose. But I took channel 4, I put it in the speed controller, okay, and I plugged in the speed controller to my radio, which powers my radio, on 7.4 volts, or if you get one that'll handle a 3 cell, you can do that. This one here can only handle a 2 cell. And then you take the 2 motor wires out of your speed control and run them into the starter motor. Now you may have to switch your polarity around back and forth, whatever, but that'll work. And you know, so that way you can start your gas engine. As long as you got an electric motor, you can start it from your radio. So now I'm going to try to fire this thing up just because we can do this. I'm trying to lighten up the chassis on it and everything else. So this is where it gets difficult when you're trying to fire it up. This thing leaks a lot of oil, man. I tell you, that new oil, really tough stuff. Okay, ready? Here we go. That's the 7.4 volts. You see it? Kicks it. There we go. Now, you gotta run it. However, down. If he had 11.1 volt 3 cell, this thing would fire right up real quick. So, that's my next plan, is to pick up a 3 cell speed controller, brushed, you know, don't use brushless. That way you can fire it up from your radio. It's a real simple setup, and like I say, it gives you power to your radio, and you can start it from your handheld unit right to the motor. So Now I'm trying to think of other things here that I was talking about other than the coolant. Like I say, be sure that you keep your colors separated. Like I say, I chased my tail for a week over this whole thing trying to figure out, because the fuel that I bought has a high oil content in it. I mean, it's high. It just spews it out. That's just from just firing it up right there. And, you know, it gets messy. But at the same time, I had all kinds of red, you know, fluids dripping off and under the chassis, and I couldn't figure out why. And come to find out, like I say, one of the ports weren't tight because the heat must have backed it off, the vibration when I was over revving the thing. And so the pressure, these little pumps put out some massive pressure, and it was spraying through that, filling up the lifter valley down in here, I should say. And that's what you call it on a pushrod engine. And it filled the valley up, and in the back there's a recess for the starter motor, and it just pulled it right up there and filled it up, and then it pours out the sides down the back, and it was running back and forth through the chassis. And yeah, that was frustrating, I tell you, you know. But other than that, it's almost ready for a test run. I did gear the thing up with a smaller gear here so I can get some speed out of this thing, because the other one, you do like a burnout and then it would run out of engine, you know. Being this is not a high RPM engine, I wanted to kind of gear it up as much as I could. So, yeah, it may not be that street tear when it takes off and lights the tires up, but we don't know. Another problem I had was the flex in the chassis. I had to take care of that. I still got to put a couple of brackets on here from the motor, or the engine, to the center brace, and from the center brace back to the differential shock towers, because it flexes under strain, you know, and then it'll skip over the teeth. That was driving me bananas too, because you look at it, everything seemed fine, you bench test it, you take it out, and as soon as you started hammering on it, all of a sudden it would start skipping teeth, you know. And so anyways, I would test it tonight, but it's getting late, and I don't want to really upset my neighbors. So maybe this week I'll try to get some run time with this thing and give it a test run, because I want this Camaro done, because I need more projects I got rolling in here. I still got to finish my chopper build. I got parts finally coming for that. There's a couple other things. I'll be testing a new engine, so stay tuned for that. I can't really let it out of the bag, but I think a lot of you guys will like it. And from what I understand, it's gasoline. It's not nitro. But anyways, guys, I'm getting caught up on my comments and questions. I'm going to sit down tonight and try to filter through them for a couple hours. I've had literally hundreds of them, and I always try to get back and be personal to each and every one of you guys. And but yeah, hope you like my haircut. Did it myself. You know, things you got to do when you're in a hurry. You know, your life is full. But anyways, like I say, guys, like, share, subscribe if you want. Love to all, and I will catch you later, man. Adios. Stay tuned for the next update.